I've been going back to older DLCs for Sims 4 lately, looking at features to make buyer guides. I was talking to a friend about the things you get in packs, and it really reminded me how much I miss some of those old Sims traditions. Since the beginning, I've noticed a major lack of traits with new packs for Sims 4. You probably have too. I definitely have numbers to back up that theory. I've done my homework on just how bad it is. See, back in Sims 3 days, every expansion had new traits to look forward to, along with lifetime wishes that directed your play, big goals like aspirations. These are things that players care about, so they can play a sim that has certain flaws, make a sim that's like them, or to have those traits make the sim you're playing better or worse at something. Let's look at numbers for the two games, and I'll explain why some people might be a bit upset. You can decide from there whether it's justified or not. We'll start with Sims 3, where the base game has 64 traits. There were 11 expansion packs for that game, and among all the other things you'd get, you'd pick up 35 additional traits for an average contribution of 3.18. So on average, you'd get a little over 3 traits per pack. If you included stuff packs, it'd still be a meaty 1.75, nearly 2. But Sims 3 didn't really include traits with stuff packs, and it's still a respectable average. This is where it gets kind of depressing though, so try to hold on to a happy thought. The Sims 4 base game has 38 traits, and expansions add 10 to that total for a grand total of 48 traits. I bet you did that in your head, huh? Yes, Sims 4 with all expansions has less than the Sims 3's base game. The thing is, there are 8 expansions, so you get an average of 1.25 traits per expansion. But we don't only have expansions, we have expansions and game packs, both of which should be candidates to provide new traits. It seems reasonable to me. When you include that, you get 0.61, less than 1 trait per pack. It falls to 0.31 if you include stuff packs like I did with 3. Imagine 6 packs in a row go by and then you get cat lover and dog lover and that's it. So it's a third of what Sims 3 has, even when you take the fairest look and just look at expansions versus expansions. But how can we boil this down and make it more digestible? What I mean to say is, how could I make you more depressed? How about dollars spent per trait? Sims 4 has 8 expansions and 8 game packs for 10 traits. You get about 1 trait per every $48 spent. Sims 3, it's more like $12 with all 11 expansions. Maybe someone will say, "Oh, Carl, what about the reward store and aspirations? Aren't those traits too?" Well, just looking at rewards, which the Sims 3 has as well, it's 100 to 56, and a win for 3 hands down in that area too. I can barely understand why there aren't more of those either. Those are some pretty wild numbers, and things get a good deal worse for 4 when you prune the list of traits that do nothing. I feel a lot of that is opinion based, so we won't do that, but this entire page of traits is mostly useless because they just throw random buffs on you and they have no other impact. Just to give newer players an idea how much better it could be, Sims 3 has some really good traits that do stuff outside its mood system. For instance, unlucky Sims will have bad luck in everything, but the Reaper won't take them when they die unless it's of old age. So any shocks or fires that hit them, they'll survive. The Reaper kind of has pity on you. Loves the outdoors in Sims 4 gives you a bonus when you go outside, and it's the same in 3. But in that one, Sims who love the outdoors are better at gardening and fishing and will gain skill faster. Erratic Sims in 4 kind of have some random moods, but in 3 they can fish from a swimming pool, will show up in the wrong attire to parties, eat about anything from their inventory autonomously, and talk to themselves. And it's not just an idle animation, it feels social. Kleptomaniacs are in both games, but in 3 they can be arrested for stealing, and even have their own lifetime wish associated with theft. Sims 3 fills out its list with some fairly simple traits, like heavy sleeper and light sleeper. These are not deep. but they add some extra flavor. And with so many to choose from, it's natural that you get to pick more than 3 traits. It's no wonder there has never been an extra trait slot added to Sims 4 with half the amount to choose from. 4 is not entirely lacking in interesting traits. There are a couple like Jealous and Child of the Island that have additional mechanics, but many just do something with the emotion system, and that's a very, very boring reward. I think Loner and Outgoing move your social meter at different rates, but there aren't a lot like that. Many of these things are not particularly hard to code for, especially skill gains or penalties that are associated with traits. We know you already get insane skill gains. It's just a fair point in my mind to think some people have a natural talent for things and some Sims should too. Don't get me wrong, the majority of Sims 3's traits are not amazing at all, but they do make Sims unique in some way. It has a healthy list, and it's more likely you can make the Sim you want, and more likely 2 Sims will feel unique when you play them. Unfortunately, we're really far into Sims 4's life, and I doubt things will improve much with it. I mainly hope the decision to completely ignore traits is not something that is permanent for the franchise. I don't know if it's a deliberate decision so that Sims don't get shoehorned into one playstyle, but it does hit the replay value pretty hard when all of them feel the same. So share your thoughts on Sims 4's trait system and what you think of the numbers I presented in this video. I may have miscounted, but it wouldn't be far off enough for it to make a difference. Don't bother with the "then play Sims 3" line to players who feel like I do. We don't want this to be a permanent decision and hope someday we'll see this tradition return. Thank you for listening to my rant.